Okay, so moving on. New vocabulary number 3. Okay, first word is minimum. 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 Minimum is the lowest. Cannot be lower than this number. That's what minimum means. So an example is the teacher told his students they must write a minimum of 1,000 words for their essay. Means it could be maybe 2,000 okay, 3,000 okay, 1,000, 1,001 okay, 999 not okay. Minimum 1,000. That's what minimum means. Wage. Wage is how much you get paid. A sentence. Billy only makes the minimum wage. He struggles to survive in between paychecks. Since Billy only makes the minimum wage, he struggles to survive in between paychecks. That is wage. He makes the lowest wage, so it's hard for him to survive. Okay, next one. Loophole. Loophole. A loophole is a situation where the law that was written did not consider the situation fully. So there is a gap. It is clearly wrong, but the law doesn't say it's actually illegal, so people can get away with it. Here is a sentence. His attorney has been hunting and searching for a loophole that would allow him to get out of the deal. Oftentimes, loophole is used for taxes, so that company can pay less taxes by looking for words that have a gap between the meaning. So this is another issue with bureaucratic system that is very strict. Because it's so strict, you cannot deviate. The words must be perfectly written, but it's very hard to make them perfectly written. So this kind of system allow for a lot of loophole, people to break the rules without being punished because there are gaps in the way things are written. And the opposite of loophole, it's too strict and there's an alternative thing you need to get done and it doesn't fit the exact wording, then you'll have a lot of trouble, a lot of problem. Okay, so those are the 3 no vocabulary. Minimum, wage, loophole. Okay, so let's move on to another thing that's quite related. So most of these people who come and work, they are not Chinese, and their skin and their features look different than Taiwanese people. Oftentimes they have dark or black skin. For example, Filipino usually have a lot darker skin. Same with Indonesian. They have a lot more Indian type of feature, which means they have darker skin. And in Taiwan, there's actually a history of looking down on people who are not Chinese, especially people who they have dark skin. And so these words and this cultural element is a negative impact on how these migrant workers have been treated in the past and in today. So the first type of exploitation of racism came from indigenous people, the local people of Taiwan. They were often mistreated in the past, looked down on as not civilized people. And as a result, they suffer a lot. And only in recent time have they been allowed to have their own language and had there been a lot more opportunity for them to have representation in government, and also that they have new initiatives to help them earn more and more money. So there have been some improvements, but in the indigenous front, but not in other types, like for migrant worker. And those populations are getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. Here are some of the other examples from the news in recent years of problems in Taiwan about racism. For one example, is from 2021, March 27. Taiwanese employer didn't pay the migrant worker who was living at home, the domestic care worker, a proper salary, stealing money from what they were supposed to pay them. So that migrant worker learned enough Chinese to be able to take him to court. And after the migrant worker won, because the lady was supposed to be paying her, the lady who was cheating her employee, had to pay her almost 9,000 NT dollars. But because this person was a migrant worker, and was a servant, and the lady looked down on her and thought she was her slave. Make her pay this money. She was so angry, she would pay her all the money she owed her already, only in $1 coins. So they had to count all the coins to make sure it was enough money. The lady tried to do that and just leave. But actually, she only do this because she looked down on others, especially from other country. She probably will not treat other Taiwanese person this way. Um, Another example of racism here, Taipei kindergarten. One Taipei kindergarten posted a job saying that they wanted to recruit new teachers, but they refused to hire anyone who had black or dark skin. So this is a textbook example of racism. They think only white people or certain other kind of people are capable of teaching in English. But actually, there are native speaker in America and a lot of other country that do not look like white hair and white skin and blonde hair, blue eyes. There's only a small amount of English speaker. England, UK, sorry, UK, Australia, New Zealand, United States. These are all countries that have been built on immigration, especially over time. So there are lots of different people from different backgrounds, different skin color. All of them are native speaker, have lived in America, UK, Australia, New Zealand, all these places. They have lived there their whole life. They grew up there. They didn't even move from another country. They just were born there, but they have different skin color. They're just as capable of teaching English. But because Taiwan have a history of looking down on dark-skinned people as being poor or dirty or uneducated, is stuck in the mind of Taiwanese people, even if they don't think about it like this type of way. It's the words and the way that culture has been ingrained over time has made it these kind of racist ideas deep inside people's mind. But people are changing also. But I'm just pointing out that it still exists today. As the world evolves and as more English is being taught and more Taiwanese learn English, they're able to hear new news from other countries and get new ideas. Same with America, and as other people are learning English, Americans also start to learn about other culture better. So actually, this English language learning is very great for the whole world. And the last one, tell you here, the school has informed me that it will not accept application for people who are not predominantly English-speaking countries or who are black or dark-skinned. That's the racist part, black or dark-skinned. Also, they try to imply they will not hire someone from maybe Philippines, where Philippines have English as a primary language. So they are just as capable as teaching English in many cases. Okay, and the last one. So here I want to read about racism is a term that many people associate with America or the West. They think about how white people in America exploited black people in America. But actually, racism can be anywhere, can exist in all countries. Because it's just when one person looks down on the other person just because of how they look like or where they were born. So racism is one group of people who share physical traits, so like skin, hair, eye color. They view themselves as better or more deserving of others because of how they believe, or the belief that they are simply born better. Okay, so in Taiwan, the dominant ethnic group, so the main group of people is Han Chinese. They're not Chinese people, but they're Han Chinese. That's the ethnicity. Their ancestors came from China. That's what that means. Although other Chinese ethnic groups also exist, so not just Han, also like Hakka and Shanghaiese. There are a bunch of different kind of people. Even Cantonese people live here, but they're predominantly Han Chinese. And so this, because Taiwan is separated from the rest of the world physically and also internationally in many cases, it made it so that people got used to only seeing Chinese people, and it make other people seem foreign. The foreigner come here, then they look like they are different, or maybe worse. It's a natural thing to happen in the beginning, but over time, culture need to change, start accepting more people and more ideas. So because in the past, the Chinese had this idea that that dark people were dirty or undesirable. This is why this idea still kind of exists. Even today, you might hear a girl tell another girl as insult, "Pi fu hei, pi fu hei." This is a dark skin, pi fu hei. It's a black skin, and this is considered insult. But because even though you think, oh, I'm only talking about Han Chinese people, I'm only talking about Taiwanese looking people, but because this idea that pi fu hei is insult, in your mind you associate it unconsciously with everybody who have skin tone. And this manifests in these kind of incidents. Okay, so now we're going to watch a quick video, and then I will invite you to do a short game. Okay?